Welcome to As Long as the River Flows, a Keepers of the Water podcast. Episode 11 is part 4 in the series of Dene Nation Speaks Out on the 2023 wildfire devastation and why an independent inquiry is needed. In part 4, Bill Erasmus discusses the need for the people to reach out to the Commissioner of the Northwest Territories to express their desire for an independent inquiry. Then we hear closing statements from Chief Fred Sangwace, Elder Francois Paulette, and Chief David Echinelli. Then Jesse Cardinal from Keepers of the Water recaps the webinar and gives out the information on how listeners can contact the Commissioner of the Northwest Territories.
I want to make some comments about what Chief Sangri said and others. Part of the problem is that right now the way legislation guides everything, and the federal government has legislation in place for any kind of emergency, natural disasters. Chief mentioned the state of emergency. The only communities that are mentioned in the legislation are the two reserves in the Northwest Territories. And I think that's because they're in the Indian Act and the government is responsible. They don't mention the other chiefs. They don't mention the other communities. And the ones that are in charge, if there's an emergency, is the mayor. It's a municipality. And it's the premier. It's the ministers. That's why they're in charge. So if you want to change that, the legislation has to change, or you have to set up an agreement. The chief has to make an agreement with the mayors or with the territorial government and with the federal government. This needs to be cleared up, and this needs to be cleared up before the spring, because as people saying, there's already fires out there. British Columbia has 100 fires that's already burning. Alberta has 55 fires that's already burning. They burnt all winter, and there's some in the NWT, and if they don't get them right away, when the snow's gone, they're gonna burn. So there's some urgent things that have to happen. We need to encourage the commissioner to have the inquiry. So I would encourage people to phone the commissioner's office, to write a letter to the commissioner and say, yes, you want this inquiry because we need to talk about it. We need to be prepared. We're just lucky we never lost more lives. So I want to go to Chief Sangris. Can you make some closing comments?
Okay, thank you. As you know, Indigenous people that live in the north here, especially here in Dene, we were given a warning a long time ago by a prophet in the Satu region about 500 years ago. My grandfather, David Sangris, who was also known as Otikar there, who was almost 120 years old. He was one of the oldest living men. He told me stories with my brothers and sisters, that the stories about the prophet and Satu a long time ago. My grandsons, he said, 500 years ago, there was a prophet in the Satu, and he wanted all the people to go and see him because he had a very important message that he had to share with us. The prophet, he saw a vision of the future of this land, and he said, they will come. Those people will come. They're not like us. They are different people. They have red hair and they have beard. They are different. They will come to you and they will live among you, but then they will take everything away from you soon. There will be destruction. They will destroy your world. They're going to take everything until you have almost nothing left. And then the world will start. The world will begin to end. And how it's going to happen? It will start with fire. The land will burn. Fire will destroy everything, wildlife, everything we need, we depend on. It will be burnt. And my grandson is that the only thing left for people to live on will be the fish and the water. That will be the only food left. So my grandson, remember this warning in the future. And when the fires and the forest fire and the land start to burn, then you will know that this warning will come to you, and it's going to happen. So we know this warning already. We were told as Dene people that they will come and the world will be destroyed, and it's happening at this time. So we have to understand and educate ourselves as people. So we know that the old prophets is telling us the truth, but we need to remember that story and prepare ourselves, make ourselves prepared so that it won't happen at really devastating, at really fast pace. Climate change is real, and the land is dry, very, very dry. It's going to burn. and that I'm worried. I'm really worried how we're going to survive as Dene people. If all the land burned, we will be very, very poor. And I think the governments will have to step in to make some changes. And Bill, I agree with you. We have to look at the legislation with the governments and make some changes. They should not only be responsible for fires, but also as indigenous leaders, we need to take care of our community, make sure that safeguard our community, safeguard our back door, making sure that our medicine plants out there is protected. GWT always says land is good when it burns. It brings wildlife back, but it will not bring my medicines back. It will take hundreds and hundreds of years for that medicine to grow again. So science and traditional knowledge are not working together within that government. I think from now on, it might have to. One comment: Northern Saskatchewan, the Dene people who fight fire, they are the model for the North. Yes, you cannot have a journalist to be the crew boss of a firefight in the North. What you need is an elder and a trapper and someone that can tell young people how to fight fire and how to take care of it. That's the way to do it. Forget science. Science failed last year. Remember that. And it's going to happen again. So we got to look at traditional knowledge and look at the model of Northern Saskatchewan, how they fight fires with the elders and their team. That's the way to go. And like I said, we need lots of money. Maybe we could train 100 people in Dettah and other communities. Train your people, get money from Ottawa so that when this happened, we don't have to run. We'll just take care of our back door, clear our community area, do some clear running, do some line cutting. Just prepare ourselves. That's where the money should be spent, not in hotels and down south and where everybody is all over the place. It was chaos and it was not good. I don't want to go through that kind of experience with my people again. I prefer if we have a plan and stay and look after it. We need to do tree cutting and other things, you know. The earth is getting hot and we have to be prepared. 500 years ago, the old prophet, that's what he told us. Must see.
Hi, Chief Fred Sangre. We'll go to Francois Paulette, and then we'll hear some closing comments from Chief David.
Thank you all for your comments. I think it is important that we move ahead. One thing is that this firefighting today, as mentioned, caused by climate change and so on, is becoming a multi-million-dollar businesses throughout the North. It'd be nice for some of these companies that have made a lot of money in the millions to say a few words. Right here in our homeland here, there was 12 helicopters parked there each evening, sometimes 15. We have bulldozers, cats. Yeah, a lot of our businesses in the north here have made a lot of money, but they don't say anything. We need to put a plan together, and I still like it for a small group of you chiefs to travel to Ottawa, make your business known. If I don't know how AFN can help facilitate this, maybe they could. And Fred, the Chief Sangre, has made a good point. If you're going to raise money, you have to put a good budget together, like $100,000. That's not a lot of money. For one company, a few years ago, when there was a fire here in the north, made $10 million. I think we need to put a good plan and send a small delegation to Ottawa. I don't know about the territorial government. I'm kind of embarrassed by them. I don't know. I've heard about the premier, but I don't think that guy is knowledgeable about, he's concerned about money. Well, for a helicopter to be parked at the airport, just parked, is over $1,000 a day. Is he got a concern about that? No. Anyway, at the end of the day, I think the small delegation should go to Ottawa, put your plan together, and see what can be done. That's the way I see it. There's no other way to do it. You can't go to the premier because he'll just tell you, sorry, I said it, there is no money. But Ottawa has money through climate change, so let's tackle them. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Francois. Chief David Echinelli, you want to make some comments before we finish? Chief David, go ahead.
I don't know what to say, really. But I try thinking about whatever Francois Paulette and Fred Sangre said. What Fred Sangre said is true. I remember that a lot of people talk about this. The fire is just scary. And even the water, the river, when you're working on the river, all our elder people said, be careful. That's what they told us. But if, now I really believe what the three prophets said. I didn't see them, but I heard a word. They were talking about it. What they said, like people talk about it. I heard a word. Like I say Aya, I say Andrew, I say Rob London. What's going to happen? They said we're on right now. In the way back, thousand years, when Noah, the God destroyed the world with the water flooding. And God made the promise, He's not going to destroy the world with the water again. He's going to take all the people that want. He never did that before. Now He says He's going to take all the people who sing up, whatever belonged to them. Now it has happened. He says He's going to destroy with the fire. If God doing that, I don't know how we're going to put it out. And on top of that, they said the world war is going to start. The world war is three. Now the war is all over. Before this kind of thing happened, we have to let our young people know. A lot of our young people don't pray. A lot of our young people don't think about themselves for the future. So right now we're talking about it. I'm happy to see you guys on the TV. Even when you're spending, like getting night, you're going to sleep. Before you go to sleep, you pray. And when the daylight, God still love you. He's lighting candle for you. So you say, thank you very much. I want to have a good time with my friend, everybody. That's what they do in the old days. When the daylight comes, everybody's so happy to see each another, work good together. They don't want the thing happen. That's why when the nation assembly, they always put. You remember I told you that already when you were the national chief. When all the elder, all the old chief were they're still alive. When the assembly come, they bring the priest there to make a mass, bless the meeting area, so they can put the good word in there for the Northern Territory people that don't want to split. So now this has happened. So we have to talk about this kind of stuff all the time, but we don't hear each another. We don't see each another. The only time when you phone, but like my friend said, when you phone, doesn't mean you're just talking to your friend behind the door. The word's not going to go out. It's better to use a letter so they can't forget. They can't say they don't know. You already seen a letter, so everybody know. So let's keep talking about this kind of stuff like that. About the fire, that's right. I don't know what's going to happen in the future right now. But whoever had that cabin out on the land, if nothing happening around the area, I want them to have a water pump around in their area. Like Fred said, 100 people training for fighting fire. There's a lot of people can do that in our community. They've been fighting fire when the fires way back, 25 cents an hour. Even that will put lots of fire out. I don't know, about 30 miles or 50 miles away from the community, we'll go to the fire. We'll put it out now. It's not like that, like Frank said. I wonder whose idea to put it that way now. I wonder who that person bring this up, let the land burn. They don't want to do anything along the Mackenzie River. Maybe you know, Billy. You've been on a nation chief. You work with the government. You talk to the government about all this kind of stuff like that. We really want to like to find out. Would like to talk. I hope it's nothing happen. I don't know, but I heard a word that said it's going to be everything changed starting next year. So before it happened, I had to pray really hard for everybody. Right now, look at the people of war, all the young people, old people. A lot of people don't eat. A A lot of people got no water to drink. Us were still okay. But we have to think about all these people that have to get together and pray for them. So I don't want nothing happen like this again in the future to each other community. Thank you. Good to see you on the TV. I hope I see you again tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Chief David. Masi Cho, to everyone that has made some comments. We understand that there should be funding available through CERNAC. There's new funding that's supposed to be coming out, and we're hoping the Dene Nation office can help people find that funding. I don't know about funds that were already spent, but I think the communities that spent money on their own, they need to calculate how much they spent, and there needs to be an effort to get money to get that back to the community, because the community did not budget for it, but they spent their own money in a lot of instances. So I think that really needs to be organized. And I know this topic's going to continue. I'm asking Leanne to post on Facebook the commissioner's office. She has not responded officially to the request from the Dene National Chief. The letter went in last month in February. I believe it was on the 13th of February. The request is to have an independent inquiry. That means somebody who's not with the territorial government or with the federal government or with any connection to any of this. An independent person, like maybe a former judge that's retired. You get somebody like that who will listen to what people have to say. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to cost a lot. I agree with Francois Paulette. He said the premier said it's going to cost too much money. Well, it would cost a lot of money if the commissioner or if whoever's doing the inquiry goes into every community. He doesn't have to go into every community. He can do what Chief Andrew is doing right now. He can have people sitting in the community hall or in the office, and he could speak to a lot of people in one day from his own home. He doesn't have to travel. He can hear people speaking to him. He can do that. It could be very cost effective that way. So I think we need to argue this doesn't have to be expensive. And even if it does cost money, it's going to cost a lot more if this continues the way it is. And we have to be prepared. I wanted to make those comments. We're very fortunate that we didn't lose more people. Let's get organized. Let's be prepared. Please call the commissioner's office. Tell them you want to have an independent inquiry. If you can write them, please write them. Write to the commissioner and tell her the reasons why. Very important. Masi Cho, go ahead, Jesse.
Hi, Bill. I'm just kind of taking everything in right now to hear the elected leaders speak of the prophecies and the power of prayer as well. Often people will try to undermine the power of prayer and say, well, what good does praying do? But prayer is very powerful, so let's not forget that. This is just to recap some of the points that we've heard. So the current territorial government in Northwest Territories and some of the municipal and community governments like Yellowknife did not have plans that detailed full-scale evacuations, nor did the territorial government legislation enforce such. Coordinated efforts around data sharing agreements about affected evacuees could have reduced real-time incidents and outcomes. So like where people were going, that information wasn't being all publicly shared. There was a lot of details that weren't being shared that could have helped the Dene Nation in the planning as well. There is an over legislation of Dene lands by foreign governments because of Dene ancestral traditional knowledge has not been incorporated into federal and territorial lands management over Dene lands. The lands have faced compounding effects of ecological harm. And other examples are Experienced Dene firefighters have been denied the ability to work because they had a criminal record or could not pass the territorial government's requirements due to cultural barriers. Traditional land knowledge was ignored, as many of the chiefs have mentioned today. There's a lot of traditional knowledge that could go into preventing fires as well as fighting the fires. Reduced funding for community-based wildfire crews and training. So Francois mentioned that, there's lots of money being spent, but in the communities, the money was not being spent to mobilize the community people to help. And then regulation of wood cutting permits limits the access to who can harvest. So there's a lot of considerations when we're looking at what an independent audit, like what all needs to be considered. And we ask all of you that are listening to contact the commissioner. So this is the commissioner of Northwest Territories, and you can invite the commissioner to attend any events. So if you in your community want to host an event, you can, we'll post the information on our Facebook pages. Her name is Marie Larson. It's MARIE_LARSSON at gov.nt.ca. But we will post all of this information. You can call her. You can give her a call at 867-767-9137. She's at extension 18068. We'd also like to thank CKLB, a radio station, for offering their services at no cost to stream this. We really wanted to make sure we can get to as many community people as possible. We have been hearing messages on our Facebook that community people want to be heard, and that is noted. The leadership is on here, and they will be making arrangements to set up forums for the community folks to be heard. Also, again, thank you to the Dene Nation, Leanne Goose, our co-moderator, Bill Erasmus, our three panelists, Francois Paulette, Chief David Etchinelli, and Chief Fred Sangri. And also, just really quickly, we sent a notice to the AER. That's the Alberta Energy Regulator in Alberta. There's a current project in Fort McMurray by CNRL. It's called the Jack Pine Expansion. We have filed notice on behalf of the Athabasca River. So this is the first time that we're trying this in Alberta to seek personhood for the river. The other thing to be aware of, because I'm located in Treaty 6 and Treaty 8, just on the border in Alberta, we are in a drought, and we're not sure if the Dene Nation should be aware and checking if the transboundary water agreements are even going to be met this year. The people here are scrambling to try and deal with the drought.
That was Jesse Cardinal of Keepers of the Water. Thank you for listening, and thank you to all the contributors of this episode. If you'd like to hear the full webinar, visit the Keepers of the Water Facebook page or our YouTube channel. If you'd like to donate to the cause or find out more about Keepers of the Water, you can check out our website at keepersofthewater.ca. And don't forget to download and subscribe to be the first to hear new episodes. Miigwech.